Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have some interesting developments on the Mykhaylo Mudryk news. Big breaking update. Today we found out that the bid has been refused. Sorry, not refused, rejected. The bid has been rejected by Shakhtar Donetsk, and we've gotten a big update that they want more than the 55 million that Arsenal have put in the 65 million price package. Now they want closer to 70 million, and that means Arsenal have had their bid refused, and we're now going to have to go back in for Mykhaylo Mudryk spending more. Plus, on today's video, we're going to talk about João Felix. We're going to talk about Youri Tielemans. We're going to talk about Evan Ndicka. And surprisingly, Arsenal, there's a big rumor that Arsenal are going to be in for 3 players this window. We're going to talk about that. Also, Arsene Wenger has returned back to the Emirates, and in his return, a statue will be in the works to get for him very, very soon. Let me know where you're watching from. Hope you hit that like button. Hope you hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it because there's a lot to cover today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this show going. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me know how you guys are feeling, and if you're watching this for the first time in the new year, Happy New Year. Yes, people. So I got Gunner Souls with me. Let me know how you guys are doing in the chat. We got Kesh is going to be making his return today, and Ursan could be also joining us very, very soon. But let me know how you guys are feeling in the chat. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the Mykhaylo Mudryk news. There's a lot of stuff going on. A new bid in the next few hours. That's what we're hearing. A new bid will be going in the next few hours. That is what we're hearing at this moment in time. The gap between Arsenal and Shakhtar Donetsk for Mykhaylo Mudryk is a mere 10 million pounds, my friend. That is what we're hearing. The last bid that we heard about was in the region of 55 million pounds, which is around 60 million euros. That shows that we are off about 10 million off their valuation. This is a really, really good sign that we can be actually getting Mykhaylo Mudryk this window. I am very excited. I am not going to lie to you. When I first seen the rumors and reports going around, I thought this was going to take all window, but now if Arsenal just cough up an extra 10 million, we could potentially have this deal done and dusted before the transfer window even opens. Now, some of you guys might find this hard to believe, but I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about because it's actually crazy how much things have progressed in such a short time period. But welcome to the show, my friend. How are you doing, Gunnar Souls? How are you feeling?
I'm very well, man. I mean, there's a lot of news, like you said, that's broken today. Obviously, which we'll get into as well. And it's actually quite insane to see Arsenal moving the way they're moving, with all the doubt that people had, and whether Arteta was the guy to move us forward. He seems to be a catalyst for change at Arsenal, and for the first time, we feel like we're getting the old Arsenal back a bit. I mean, from the culture change to the mentality, when you listen to what the players are saying, the manager's saying, and in the moment, like even when I watched the West Ham game, I was like, it's going to be pretty difficult to massively improve. But when you watch it again, you kind of understand what Arteta saw and why he says that, he's going to rewatch this game and see how we can massively improve, because this was not as good as a performance as I wanted. And I thought it was insane to say, because the performance was quite decent. But then when you see the likes of Gabriel and Saliba and actually having poor performances from their standards, and we still looked unfazed, and now we're looking to go big in January. The scary times are ahead, man. Like, it's exciting to be an Arsenal fan, to see what can happen, without giving obviously the show away and every single opinion I've got on the topics. But I'm doing really well.
Big up everyone in the chat. We got this comment here from Pink Panther. I think we're just gonna have to agree with you. It's the tough question, but we just have to trust Arteta and the boys. And you know what? I'm surprised that they actually rejected the bid, because they could have just came back to the table and said, just give us a little bit more. Instead, they rejected it, which shows very, very stern negotiation stance from them, where they are not willing to accept this exact package. Even if you're not willing to accept a package, you don't reject it. You just say, let's go back into negotiations a little bit more. Rejecting it shows the clear intent that they want more. And what they've said is they want around what Manchester United gave for Antony. But let me just introduce Kesh in the house. Kesh, how you doing, bro?
What's up, then, bro? You good?
Yo, man, last time you were here, you had short hair, bro. It's been a minute.
Bro.
It's been
What
a
we
minute.
discussing? What we discussing today?
Today we got to talk about Mykhaylo Mudryk. We got to talk about a lot of people. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking, when was the last time I had you on? Was it Madison times? Madison Odegaard times?
I think so. Think
Bro,
so.
it's been a minute. But yeah, man. Kesh is a staple, man. You've been on the channel from day one, bro. Appreciate it, bro. You're my guy. When it comes to everything else, let's see what people are saying. How are you doing today? I'm doing well. Assalamu alaikum. Shout out to you. Just pay. You guys think we should just pay for Mykhaylo Mudryk, whatever they're asking? Because they want around 70 to 86 million pounds.
Do you know what it is? The reports that I was reading was the first bid was actually just a feeler bid, just to see what Shakhtar come back with. And I feel like what you've got to understand is the way Arsenal are now moving in terms of with Richard Garlick coming in, with Edu taking on negotiations, with Josh taking more of an approach to implementing the finances behind the club. We're now negotiating lower and feeling out clubs. Now we know, okay, this is the bid. Okay, they rejected it, but now we get to determine how far off the bid we are. Because let's say, for example, Arsenal come in and go, okay, we'll pay the 100 million, but we could have got him for 20 million cheaper. It's bad business. It's not something which we want to fall into the trap of. But we also want to set a precedence within the window to say, we're not just going to come in and pay your valuation. We're going to negotiate. And that's what Man City do. Man City are stern and like, we're not paying over a certain amount unless you're an absolute superstar. I look at all their players, bar Grealish, are 60 million or below. That's what people know. They know as soon as you get to that 60 million pound mark, they're going to walk away. So you either bend over for City or they just won't buy a player. But the problem that we have, I think we're two seasons away from being able to walk away from Mudryk and not feel the effects of it. We're in a position where we don't have enough depth, and clubs know this, and they know we're not desperate, but we're in need of players. We're in need of bodies. And that's kind of what they're leveraging to try and get Arsenal to pay more for it. But also, when you're playing on the form that we're playing, when you see the style that we're playing at, and when the club knows this is an Arteta signing, that's going to demand a premium. So we got to take those factors into consideration. At the moment, we're not the ones in the power, unfortunately, to negotiate what we want. We're in the position where we kind of have to meet in the middle with clubs and kind of sweeten the deal somehow.
Enzo Fernandez going to Chelsea? What the hell?
Yeah, apparently they're paying the release.
That's so dumb. They've been in for Declan Rice for years. Are they still gonna get him?
I would assume so.
Interesting. Okay, let's see. This is crazy. But yo, Kesh, what you gotta say? Would you just pay the money, or are you saying?
From my understanding, is we're probably about like 70 mil off from what they want. But in terms of the overall package, I think we're kind of like lowballing them. I know everyone's looking at it and thinking, oh, they're saying they want closer to Grealish figure, but I'm using my comprehension skills. I'm thinking they know they're not going to get that, but you have to meet them in between that. And also, it's not 100 million pounds. We need to remember the currency difference. That it's not 100 million pounds. So my thing is, we're in a season where we're chasing for the title or whatever. You've got to show your intent. A lot of people saying walk away from the deal, get someone else, but I don't really see many players that's attainable right now in this winter window that's off his quality. So do you therefore go for someone below his quality where in 18 months' time, you're probably going to look back and think, we didn't actually want him, like he's not quite what we want? Or do you want to just go for the player that you've done your due diligence on and you've looked into it and you think that's the player that's going to come and add quality depth to our team, whether he's playing in the first team or whether he's coming off the bench, whatever. But as someone you're going to be confident in over the next 18 months, 3 seasons time, 4 seasons time, rather than short-term, investment. So I think that's the way we have to think.
It's kind of similar to the situation with Lacazette. We kind of went for Lacazette, even though I think we wanted him at the time. But Aubameyang became available, and it kind of like, if we would have went for Mahrez or somebody else at the time, it would have made more sense in the long term if we got Aubameyang.
I think they messed up in the summer because you could have got him a lot cheaper. But I think because of his performances in the Champions League, I think the clubs looked at it and think, like this kid, he's actually got qualities there. They're more convinced now. But unfortunately for us, Shakhtar's looked at it and think, you've missed that boat. We've seen what he can do in the Champions League. The price has now gone up. So in life, you snooze, you lose. If you don't make your move at the right time, you're going to get punished for it.
Yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price. That's
basically
what it is. That's basically what it is. But when it comes to Mudryk, what was the original report from the Athletic the other day? It was 25 million add-ons, right? Am I mistaken? Because what Fabrizio wrote and what all the different prices I've been seeing are crazy. One day I'm seeing 40 plus 20, 40 plus 25. What is it? Is it actually 40 plus 25?
No, it equated to 65 million euros. That was
euros.
The total package.
That's what I'm saying. It's the currency that everyone's getting confused about. Shakhtar's not saying they want £100 million. I think it's more. They want closer to 100 million euros. That's my understanding I've gained from it. So I think if we can meet in the ball figure of about 75 to 80, and I'm not talking pounds, I'm talking about euros, I think they'd be more inclined into accepting that.
Okay, so 3 hours ago, this was the major news that we heard 3 hours ago. It was that the bid was rejected, and reports coming out everywhere is that we're going to be going back in with another bid. This was the major news that we heard. Now, this is just normal in negotiations. Do you guys think it's kind of it's normal for Shakhtar to reject it? I would have thought they wouldn't have rejected it. They would have maybe just came back to the table and said, give us a little bit more in money up front instead of rejecting the full out.
You know what? The reason why I'll say it's normal, because they've been having discussions for the last 2 months. They've been speaking to his agent. So Shakhtar knows. Shakhtar's not stupid. They know that the information they're passing to his agent is being passed back to Arsenal. So it's whether Arsenal want to play fools to it or actually smarten up and say, you know what, we don't quite think he's worth the 100 million euros, but we'll meet you close to that. Then I think they'll be more inclined to sit down and say, you know what, we can go with that. But it's also the base figure. I think in terms of the additions, the add-ons, I think it's probably around 25, 20. I think they're all right with that. But to offer 40 base salary, which is what they're going to guarantee to get, they're thinking, no, you need to go a bit higher.
What about you, Gunnar?
Yeah, there's 2 things I wanted to add. Yeah, Kesh, you're right. They've come back and said the base fee isn't enough. They want more up front and then whatever the add-ons may be. Also, what you've got to understand, Shakhtar Donetsk are more stern in their negotiations. We know they ripped off, Manchester United when they went in for Fred earlier on and got, I think it was 55 to 60 million. They're notorious for negotiating, high fees, especially to the Premier League. So it's going to be one of those where if the club really believe in the talent, you kind of got to meet them, like I said, halfway, or you kind of got to not bend over completely and go, yeah, here you go, have 100 million, can't be bothered negotiating. But we kind of got to find a sweet deal where it's like, Kesh was saying, around that 80 million. Yes, it's 20 million off their mark, but they know they're not going to get 100 million or 90 million. 80 million is probably the reason why they're saying 100 million rather than 80 million is because that's the highest they want. And they know that's an unrealistic figure. But to negotiate, you're never going to play your hands and say, yeah, we'll take 80 million. So that's kind of where Arsenal need to meet them.
Let's go to this comment here from Ben. I think it's very useful. Chelsea can pay 100 million, and I can't remember a player that price that's been a hit. You know what? Sometimes paying that type of money doesn't actually mean the player is going to be a good player. So, but it's not about the money. You're going to say something, Cash? Go ahead. You're on mute.
I was going to say, I totally understand that. I totally understand that viewpoint that it's not necessarily the fee of the player that makes the player. But what I would say is you just have to use the eye test for me. That's the main important thing when assessing a player rather than the eye. Because a player could perform well, but he's not quite technically there. You don't see certain qualities in his games, but he's having good games. But with him now, I do see qualities that at the moment isn't possessed in the wingers in the Premier League right now. Like the way he runs with the ball at pace. I can't find one winger right now that does it. You know what I mean?
Say Maximin?
Totally different in my opinion.
Okay.
But you know what it is with a lot of players and price tags? It's £100 million. If you look at it, other than maybe Grealish, I'd say everyone's been a misprofiled fit. Like Lukaku wasn't the striker Chelsea needed to go for. They needed to get a different type of striker, in my opinion. But also their system wasn't ready for a striker. So sometimes what happens is a lot of clubs are making the mistake of paying for a player that just simply doesn't fit. Like even if you look at Jack Grealish, he's the epitome of why I don't like football Twitter sometimes, because for them, it's goals, assists, and stats that matter more than the individual performance. Now, Jack Grealish's role within that team can be completely different to what we perceive him to be. What he's doing at Aston Villa is probably what Pep doesn't want him to do at Man City. So he's going to be a different style of player. And the same with like our opinions on ESR. You know, we might see him as a number 10 down the centre, but Arteta sees him as a wide player. Same with Ben White. He goes, "No, I don't see you as a future centre-back. I see you as a right-back now." So sometimes what happens is the role of a player can change when they make that move, and it's our perception. Because, like, for example, Lukaku, he could be doing what Jesus does, just contributing in a different way, and his GA may not be there. But are we now going to criticize Jesus for being a bad signing because his goals aren't 15 or something like that at the end of the season? No, you're going to say Jesus has been a catalyst for us to be even in the position we're in, despite his goals and assists. So sometimes it's the perception of how you judge a player that matters more.
You know what? I'm just going to say this. Shakhtar want similar to what Man United paid for Antony now. That's what they're saying is their benchmark based off the most recent valuation that I'm seeing.
And he is a better player than Antony.
I understand that, but 85 million pounds is a lot of money. Basically, we have to be prepared to spend our record transfer fee for the winger, because the Shakhtar Donetsk have publicly said they want close to 85 million pounds for him. And I just want to show you the difference between the two teams. Yes, the gap might be different, but the actual money up front that they want is not too far off at this point.
My problem is, I know they want closer to Antony and all that, and I know a lot of our fans are not happy with doing so. But for instance, if he wasn't in a title chase, shall I say, I know a lot of fans are looking at desperation because we want the player, but I could more say, you know what, wait till summer. But this is not the time to sit and dwell and sit on our heels. At the end of the day, I look across Europe and I see Real Madrid, and I know we can't compete with Real Madrid financially, but you have to factor these things in. They're looking to invest in a young potential striker, and he's only 16. They're putting in a lot of money to invest in him because they're not just looking at him thinking he's going to come in and be an instant hit, but they know what they're getting. If you do your due diligence and you scout and everything, you do everything properly, then you lower the risk factors. You get what I'm saying? Obviously, I understand a lot of fans still suffer from the Pepe PTSD, and I get it. I totally understand it. But Pepe, when he signed, there was also doubts of whether to sign him or not. Now there's a manager that's actually directly chasing a player. There's no doubts. You don't see any rumors saying, "Oh, but should we get Mudryk or should we get someone else?" He's directly interested in him. And so far, we've not had any signings that's gone wrong, shall I say. Since we've gone past the Willians, every signing that we've had recent years over the last 18 months, 2 seasons, I've actually come in and done good, improved. Like you look at Ben White, there's a lot of fans that wasn't confident in Ben White. Now there's a lot of fans singing in praise now because Arsenal saw the investment that they was getting and believed that the player, as the years go by, will grow into the player that they want.
This is the question though that I'm going to ask you guys. Is he worth the 70 to 85 million if we go on to push on to win the league and he's a key part to the team? 110%. If he comes in and he struggles out the gate and it takes him time to adjust to the Premier League, is it still worth the 70 to 85 million if he starts hitting the form next season? Because people are not going to have patience with him due to our circumstances currently.
Of course not. But I think he himself as a player knows that. Like, if sometimes I look at players' auras, yeah, and the way they behave and their mannerism, and you can see that he's a player that's greatly confident in his ability. And this is what I mean about using the eye test. Like, a lot of people want to go off stats and GA and all of that, but GA can only last so long, bro. Like, I look for performance. How are you affecting the team? What are you contributing? And for me, that's key.
But to add to that point, the reason why I'd say it's worth it is because of the way we now scout. Now, the one thing I keep pushing on is the psychology behind our signings as well. We don't just look at the player's sort of ability to play football. We look at the psychology of the player. What happens when they're in a losing position? What happens when they lose the ball? What happens when, something happens in their personal life? How do they respond to these situations? That's what, Ben White was so, and this is what it was a massive eye opener, even at All or Nothing as well, is the detail and the meticulous detail of data that we go through just to make sure a signing is correct for us. And that's why we haven't failed. That's why even if you look at all of our signings and whether they hit the ground running or not, everyone thought Tomiyasu wouldn't do that. Ben White wouldn't do that. Tomiyasu, I think it was 2 training sessions and he was put in as soon as he was signed. And look at him, he implemented the system perfectly. Do you know why that was? Because we knew Bologna played the exact same style of play that we did in terms of having a vertical asymmetric system that we were implementing at that time, where we pushed the left over and had vertical runs within the left-hand side, and the right-hand side needed to make those vertical passes, which is what Tomiyasu exceeded at. And that's the reason why I say if they want to push it to 70 million, I trust the scouting network and the data that they've gone through. And also, don't forget, this isn't a panic buy. We've wanted this guy even in the summer. We've done at least 12 months worth of scouting and data reports, interviewed the player. We've put our trusted journalists and somewhat close to the club in terms of Zinchenko's wife to go and actually interview the player. So we know this player inside and out, his weaknesses, his strengths, and exactly how to use him. So I have no doubt, firstly, he'll get the ground running. But even if he doesn't, he's not meant to do that this season. We know he's going to be second to a Martinelli. Or if Martinelli gets injured, that like for example, Jesus, now Nketiah is the main man. Until that doesn't happen, he's just here to do a role and do what ESR did for us in terms of coming off the bench and contributing 10 goals for the season. That's what we want him to do, become the match winner off the bench, at least for this season. And then obviously the future, we'll see what happens.
Let's get it straight. The only reason why a lot of fans are frowning on the price tag is because of the league. I totally get that. But in my early days of being an Arsenal supporter, I saw signing the likes of Aleb for Lombard from teams not in the top 5 leagues. And that just comes down to scouting and knowing the player's quality. A lot of people are saying, go get Rafael Leao. He's not available in this winter window. The Napoli guy, he's not available in this window. So we've got to take a punt. We have to take a punt, isn't it? It's as simple as that.
I just want to show you guys Mudryk's stats because, I know stats aren't everything, but some people don't know what he's doing over there.
Champions League.
Well and beyond their best player, offense from the attacking end. He's creating most of their chances. He's doing everything, and not only was he doing it in the Champions League, he's doing it in their league also. So this is where his average positioning in the league. This is a guy who is showing well and beyond that he is capable of carrying a team at that level, and he's doing it at the Champions League level. He's doing it at his league level, and I'm not too concerned. You know what? Call me crazy, but if he comes in, I think he's going to be a guy who hits the ground running, as Gunnar Sola said. I don't think he's going to be a guy who we're going to have patience with, a Pepe situation where we keep saying, oh, we need to get him up and running. No, if we're signing him for this type of money, we know how he fits. And also, we have to look at how when Gabriel Jesus came in, slotted right in. Zinchenko came in, slotted right in. All these guys came in, they slotted right in. So I'm expecting if we're going to spend this type of money on a player mid-season, and we know what we need, I think he's going to be able to slot right in.
I think he's got the ability to be the best winger in the league. I'll be totally honest with you. Like, if you go back to the Leroy Sané signing to Man City, what the game that really put him on was I think it was Schalke versus Madrid. So we're seeing a player who's performing at one of the competitions that we deem the best, barring international, Champions League. Like, we've seen what he's doing. Like, there's not many players that go to the Bernabeu and perform and drag their team. You know what I mean? So
But you know what it is though? It's crazy. Like even if you like, because I've got my doubts, as Kesh knows. Like I'm not saying he's a bad player. I don't want him. I'm just curious about the league, and I don't know enough about the Ukrainian league to actually make a full judgment on it. That's why I've got my doubts. It's not a player ability standpoint. It's just more I don't know the league enough to know if what he's doing is good or bad. So that's where I'm coming from. But when you look at statistically, even if for those people who don't care about the eye test, 18 goal contributions in 18 games says enough about his statistical output in terms of getting those assists, getting into those goal scoring positions, and then also he does pass the eye test. I've seen enough highlights and compilations and gone, do you know what? I can see why we want him. Number one, he's got the acceleration of a Haaland. Like I have not seen a player other than younger Bale that can basically beat a man and you ain't catching him. If you play a high line against this guy, he is destroying you. He is taking you out. And that acceleration is scary. And even if you look at his build, the thing is, I look at certain attributes to see whether the transition will be easy or hard. Like a Fabio Vieira, we kind of know he's going to be a slow burn and it's going to take him a bit of time because physically he doesn't look up like for a Premier League team.
Yeah.
But Mudryk is built like a tank, similar to Haaland. Like they just built players like these Eastern Europeans. So I've got no doubt.
Let's just give the final updates on the news before we get on to Leao. This is the actual quote where the Shakhtar director spoke about bid closer to Grealish. He was basically just saying the valuation's way off what we need, and he's using them as an example. So I kind of feel like I get that now. This is another thing. It's promising signs when we're hearing stuff like this coming out of Ukraine, where they're saying Arsenal and Shakhtar are continuing negotiations. Most likely, we'll be able to conclude with an agreement. Important factors in the possible transfer is Mudryk. Desire is to play football. What desire of the footballer is to move to Arsenal. So he himself is making it clear that he wants to push for the move. That is great signs for us, ladies and gentlemen. He himself is pushing for the move, and he can help by basically saying, you know what, I like you guys, but I want to move. And similar to Zinchenko, this is a guy who's an Arsenal fan. Like we've seen, Fabrizio Romano showed us the stuff that he has been watching the games. He's been posting it online. I'm not too worried. The fact that he himself has a desire to play for Arsenal, personal terms are not going to be an issue. It's just everything is working in our favor at this point. And we just need to make sure we can get this deal done. But yeah, with that being said, there is more on the table for this window than just Mudryk. Why did I say Mudryk? I mean Mykhaylo Mudryk. There's more than just him. What do you guys think? What else do you think Arsenal could actually get done? Because there is an article. Before we get into the article, just guessing, what do you guys think we're going to get done this window? Outside of
I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical. I think we'll be lucky if we get 2 signings. I'll be honest with you, because I'm not really buying into the old Tielemans thing. I know there's still rumors about that we want him. I think if we really wanted him, I know he's on a free, and people saying maybe we just don't want to pay that. We just want to wait for him free. But with the season that we're having, you sometimes have to bite the bullet and say, you know what, we're going to grab him. And I don't see us moving for him. So I honestly do believe that we'll probably end up with the winger, and that will be it.
You think just Mykhaylo Mudryk and that's it? What about you, Gunnar Souls? What are you saying? And why is Leao trending? Why is Leao trending?
Honestly, bro.
Because
he's a proven commodity. That's all it is, isn't it? So everyone feels.
Oh my God! Look, the first thing I do when I go on the internet to type in Leao, this comes up. I'm sorry, like Leao to United, it's not happening. They can't even afford friggin' João Felix on loan. Then you see this, Leao to Man City. Like
it's gonna happen. He's the biggest
something
name
that's
in
gonna
Europe
make
right
some
now.
people. So this might trigger some people. Leao currently is not better than Bukayo Saka. People are talking about him as if he's this generational talent, best player, best winger you could possibly sign. He's just an exciting player who's playing in the Serie A for AC Milan. And yes, he's good. But at this moment in time, there's not too much difference between him and Bukayo Saka.
It's because he's won a title. That's all it is. He's won a title. That's it.
There's not too much difference between him and Bukayo Saka. Like, people keep talking about Leao. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Oh, and this guy. This guy's an absolute weirdo. What a weirdo. Did you see this guy? He did an obituary for Leao as if he passed away. Like, what's wrong with this guy?
Ridiculous.
This guy's a weirdo. But yeah, anyways, what are you saying?
The question of I kind of agree. I don't. The problem is, right, January is a very notoriously difficult window to get every business done, especially if you want the quality that we're looking at. We know Ndicka, for example, is someone that's linked as a left centre back to come in, but he's going to be on a free in the summer, and we're going to try and that deal can be done in January for the end of the season. But I don't really think we're going to get much done. And I think because people think, oh, we're paying this much for Mudryk, there must be more coming in. I don't think so. And I'm not sold on Tielemans. Even forget about whether Arsenal bid it or whether they actually want him. I'm just not sold on him. I think there's better option for what we want or what we need. And that's what they're probably holding out on. If they want him, he's going to be a free anyway. We'll see whether we actually go in for him. But for me, the reason why I don't think anyone else is coming in is Elneny's back, and that's your replacement for Partey. You've got Sambi Lokonga still there. You've still got Xhaka there. ESR's coming back. You've got Fabio Vieira to come in for Odegaard. The reality is we're actually less depth in our attacking positions than we are anywhere else. The other places can have people coming in and doing a job. So I do agree, man. I think it's going to be Mudryk, and if a player pops up, we'll go for him.
You know what player did pop up though, guys? Just before we go into any of the other players, I've been hearing a lot of rumors about Dusan, Vlahovic, Milinkovic, Savic, all these other guys. But Gakpo's done. He's gone to Liverpool. It's done. Like, there's no more conversations with us being linked to Gakpo. That conversation's over. And I don't think we were ever actually going for Gakpo after the fact that he was linked to us all summer and we never really moved for him. Kind of gave me the sign that we never really wanted him that badly. Like, we looked at his position and we said we don't need that type of player. I think we view him so similar to what a Martinelli is. We don't need that profile of player because we already have it in Martinelli. Do you agree?
Well, what player was that again? Sorry.
What do you call it? Gakpo. Because Gakpo's now gone to Liverpool, and this whole thing about Gakpo to Arsenal was going on for a while. And it Gakpo to Manchester United, Gakpo to everybody else. Gakpo was linked to a lot of different teams, and Arsenal were one of those teams that he was linked to. And
I don't personally think he's a profile fit for us.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, he's a top talent. Don't get it twisted. Like,
Don't you think he's similar to Martinelli in the style?
Not really. No. They play the same zones, but they don't play the same way.
Martinelli's more intense.
Yeah, Martinelli. Yeah, Gakpo's more of a I'm not comparing the two, but he's more of a silent striker. Like, he'll get his goal, but he won't do much more than that. He's a bit like Haaland. Haaland, you're not going to expect him to do the build-up play and be a part of the game for 90 minutes, but he's going to pop up in that 5 minute in the entire game and just do his job and go back. And that's what Gakpo
I'm just going to say this to this comment. We've moved past the Callum Wilsons, my guy. I'm not going to lie. I think we moved past that. We're looking to get, if we're going to get players going forward, we're looking to get players that can push us onwards. We're not getting players that just.
I don't think he's saying to get Callum Wilson. I think he's saying the profile of a Wilson is what.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. Does he mean tall striker? Because I don't know. Because I don't view Callum Wilson as a tall striker. I just view him as somebody who gets goals, man. He just everywhere he is, he just gets goals. He's efficient.
We do need a Giroud type, just as a plan B, but that's just my.
Did you have anything to say on Gakpo, or did you want to just move on quickly?
No, I think a lot of people don't really rate him, but I rate him personally. I think under the right system, right coach, I think he'll be a player that you see him evolve over the next 18 months to a season.
I think he'll be good for Liverpool. I think he'll be a really good signing for Liverpool. It's just I question how he would have done at Manchester United since they have so many players similar to his profile already.
Yeah, no, he
would have been horrible at United. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, the thing is, the reality is, what United need is a Martial or an upgrade on him. They need a Jesus type. They need, like, the way that Ten Hag plays. He doesn't really play with a striker. He needs someone who's.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get Tadic.
Well, I've got a punt that United will go for Tony in the summer.
Oh, bro!
You know what I genuinely believe. Signing. You know, if United want to be competitive, move Bruno into that position.
What? Interesting.
Seriously, move Bruno into a false line position.
Let me ask you guys this: how would Dusan Vlahovic work? Because I don't think it would ever happen.
What, to United or to us?
Because he's linked to Chelsea, he's linked to Manchester United, and he's linked to Arsenal. Do you think he moves to the Premier League, or do you think he just stays at Juventus? Because
Out of
coming
all
to
of them,
Arsenal,
United is the best fit.
what do you think, Cash?
I
Chelsea,
think,
United,
I think, I think United or Chelsea would be a good fit for him.
or Arsenal's off the table? You're saying?
I would take him at Arsenal.
Oh, and Arsenal, yeah. And
I'm fans with it, but I'll take him at Arsenal.
I personally wouldn't. I just feel like because of the situation and how he dissed us last year, and how
No, it's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen.
I think as a club we're going to look at that and we're going to say, you know what? I don't think we're interested in a player who moves like that towards us.
No, I don't think it will happen due to that. But I think in terms of the qualities he can bring and the alternative to Jesus, I think it would be a good competitiveness going on between both of them, and it would actually drive us to do better.
Yeah, I only team I can see him joining is Chelsea, because I don't know if you guys know Manchester United's financial situation. It doesn't seem like they're actually going to spend this window. It's weird. I don't think they want to spend at all. So we'll have to wait and see. But when it comes to Chelsea, you know they're always going to willing to spend. So if they don't get this guy, they're going to get the next guy we're going to talk about, which is Joao Felix. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The update on Joao Felix for me is I don't think we're going to get him. I personally don't think we're going to get him. Every time I see any update on Joao Felix, it just leaves me a little bit deflated, because I read a report every 2 days about Joao Felix possibilities and what is going on with him. Manchester United rumors, Chelsea rumors, this rumor, that rumor. But now we're hearing they want a loan to a Premier League team. Rumor has it that Chelsea, Manchester United, and Arsenal are all there. Although his future, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United are all thought to be the future of Joao Felix. It is a move that is cooking slowly. However, the loan with an option to buy is now seen as the way for his departure. I'm not going to lie to you. None of our three clubs are going to sanction an option to buy with the ridiculous price tag that Atletico Madrid want.
The price will have to drop.
They're going to have to figure out something, because last time I seen the price was 120.
And that's not to mention the 8 mil loan fee plus the 5.3 I think million that you'll be taking over the course of the 6 months. So altogether, you're looking at probably 130 for the deal.
The price rise too. The price rise in his wages. Are they dumb? They think the only team out of our three teams that would pay this right now is Chelsea. But even Chelsea, they have Havertz. Do they?
I don't know. I don't understand what Chelsea's doing, because they got Sterling. I like what they've done. They've moved it in the last game. He's playing on the right, but then he just signed Nkunku as well. I don't know. It's a bit strange.
I think both Chelsea and Manchester United transfer strategies sometimes don't make sense. Arsenal, if we went for Joao Felix, it would kind of dampen our situation going forward, because I feel like, I get it, he can play in multiple positions, but do you think Joao Felix would be a good fit for us right now? And also, do you not have any concerns based off the times that he had in Spain?
I think he's a quality player. I think he's a quality player, but in the long run, personally, I wouldn't want it to be a thing where it's Jesus and Felix competing for the number 9. I want it to be Jesus and a different profile. I think they're way too similar in profile.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. As the problem with the whole deal is it's a stupid deal. But if we're talking, like, let's say we're negotiating a better deal for him, I do like it. I like his profile. I do think he's exactly what we need if Jesus isn't available. But the problem is you've got plan A and then plan A off the bench. Where's your plan B? Where's your sort of alternative to change a game? That's the problem you're going to face. And if you look at it now, even Man City have realised this and got Haaland and Alvarez. Alvarez is the Jesus type, and Haaland is your number 9, just goal-scoring beast. And that's what we're missing. We need a guy to come off the bench, like an Oliver Giroud, like an Ivan Toney, someone just physically different of a profile rather than Felix, especially for 100 whatever million they want for him.
Our buddy, my buddy, Ben Jacobs says more on the financial challenge on the loan for Joao Felix and why prioritizing Mykhaylo Mudryk. Shakhtar want around 55 million up front. Arsenal's bid was rejected. The first bid of 40 million euros up front, and more on the market than anything they would be willing to accept. At this moment in time, I don't think Joao Felix is coming to Arsenal. That is just financially doesn't seem feasible.
Oh, but there's also a report saying Arteta's not sold on him, and he wants another La Liga striker.
Yeah.
Who could that other La Liga striker be? Because it can't be Mateus Cunhas.
I reckon it's probably for Ferran or Morata. Wouldn't surprise me.
You know the white one. If you want mine, Alexander Soloth. That's the one I would go for. So I don't think you've heard of him then. Vikesh.
Yeah, Crystal Palace. Who's that?
No, Soloth, the Real Sociedad striker.
Yeah, he used to be at Crystal Palace,
I'm not sure about that, but I know he plays for Sociedad now. Like he
was playing in Turkey last year.
I've only seen him at Sociedad, to be honest. I don't know what club he's playing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's at Old Palace, right?
Okay.
Didn't quite make it at Palace though.
No, but he's hit it off at La Liga now. He does look like an insane player, and that's the kind of profile I want as a second striker, especially as a game-changing striker. So
I'll be honest with you. If I need an ideal striker with a different profile, and I've said it for how many months now, Sesko was the move. I think when you look at his profile, he's got the build of a target man, but he's not slow like a target man. No, yeah, he has already moved. But he's not built like a target man. I mean, sorry, got you confused. He's built like a target man, but he doesn't move like a target man, and he's very technically good. He moves his feet. He can turn a man. He can take his man on, and I think that was the move. But I said, go and get certain players, like these young players, and get them as quick as possible before someone else gets them.
Okay. There's one more thing that I need to tell you guys before we move on. There is a big rumor flying around about. Sorry, it's not a rumor. Arsene Wenger. We already know about Arsene Wenger coming back and meeting with the players and everything that happened yesterday, right? But him meeting with the players was all part of him returning back to the Emirates since being a player, since being the manager, right? And now the club is looking to give him a statue. The club is looking to give him a statue, well deserved, obviously. I think he made the right decision staying away from the club for a little bit because it kind of ended pretty bad. But now everyone welcomed him back with open arms. It was nice to see everyone singing one Arsene Wenger and all the players. I think they enjoyed it. They genuinely enjoyed it. But yeah, it's nice.
I was confused, I saw the first goal. I saw Saka play a kiss. I'm like, that's not his doing the celebration. Like, he doesn't do that. Then I saw Martinelli done it. And suddenly when I rewatched the game, I was like, oh, it was towards Wenger that was doing it. I was very confused.
Yeah, you know what? It's very interesting. But they're going to build a statue for him. They're going to build a statue for him. At some point, they're going to build a statue. Yeah, I know people don't really care too much about how the statue is going to look or anything, but I just felt like that was a good idea to speak about it quickly. Do you guys care what the statue looks like, or do you have any preference on what it looks like?
do. I see a lot of people speaking of that iconic moment against Man United, but it doesn't have any significance to me. Like, it hasn't got any significance to what he's achieved or done. For me personally, it's got to be when he was on the Ivory Field and he's lifting up the trophy, the gold trophy that was given to him. That means something to me. When you get people from other countries coming over, that's what you want them to see. You know what I mean? You want them to remember his greatest achievement.
No, but he's always done this thing where he just lifts both his hands in the air.
I know, but it's got no significance though.
Yeah, there's no meaning to that.
There's no meaning to it. Like, you see the Henry one, he's sliding. You know that's trademark Henry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to have some sort of aura.
The touch.
The touch.
Tony Adams, the goal.
Tony Adams, you know what I mean? Like, you got to feel that aura. When I go to the Emirates and I go next to that statue, I got to feel it. You know what I mean?
So you want it to be similar to like when he was given the gold trophy on the final day when he was lifting it.
When he's lifting up in the air, yes. That means something to me.
I want it to be a contrasting difference in color. I want that trophy to be gold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is basically what you want him to have. 1 second. Let me put it on the screen. Everyone, give me your ideas. What would you guys?
I posted it on the Twitter on my page.
Oh, you posted it already.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. This is what I was thinking, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. This exactly or similar to this?
It's similar to
Or
that. I don't
something
think
like
it's exactly that one.
Yeah, because that's not the actual Premier League trophy that they gave us, right? Oh yeah.
No, that's the one that I think Arsenal gave him.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
his
that's the
last
one
day.
Arsenal gave him. Holding the gold trophy is the one. When did he never actually held the big gold trophy, did he?
No, he wasn't given a big. He was given a normal Premier League trophy, but then I think the Premier League and Arsenal done a little thing where they made that small mini gold one to what's it called? Basically just to show that it was gold, innit? Like we went invincible.
Okay, I'm looking. Which one is it? The one on the right?
No,
Left.
it's the one you had. It's the one you had before. It was a different kind of pose, shall I say?
Yeah. Cash, I know which one he's about. It's like the camera angle's direct on him.
Yeah, camera angles directly on him. Yeah.
Let me find it. You know what? While we're on Cash's page, we can find that stupid Spurs video. That was the dumbest thing.
That guy's hilarious. You know?
That was the dumbest thing ever. So what are they saying now? They're saying the Prem is rigged for Arsenal. That's what they're saying. The Prem is rigged for Arsenal apparently.
And
No,
the guy,
you know what the funniest thing is? He was talking about our midfielders and going, "Oh, they're too slow. Why don't you just press them?" I go, "Do you not know what press resistance is? It's not to do with speed."
and he said they're slow, but I'm saying as a midfielder, like obviously you don't want to be a slouch, but the ball moves quicker than your feet. Move the ball. Like if you have any ball knowledge, you understand.
Let's get this playing.
It's rigged for Arsenal to win it. Somebody talking some sense on here. Yes, it is rigged. Like the World Cup was rigged for Messi to win the World Cup. It's rigged for Arsenal, Pep's old pal, to win the Premier League. That's what they're doing. Have you not watched how much it's been rigged? Nobody's seen them tackle Martinelli or Saka once. Not proper stud them. I'm not on about push them over. I'm on about proper stud them. The referees are wearing red. You can.
Okay, first of all, his point where he says proper stud him, they were fouling us the whole time, but we were just barging them past. We were too strong for them. Also, has he not watched other games where our players get pushed over and fought every time? It's crazy. Then, when he's talking about the refereeing decisions had nothing to do with this game. We wiped the floor with them 3-0 in the second half. 3-1 in the second half. They had a 1-0 lead only because of a dumb mistake that we made. But yeah.
Clearly see it in every game. I've watched them. And they've got the three slowest central midfielders, yet nobody can get close to them. Partey, Odegaard and Xhaka are the slowest midfielders you can get in the middle of the park, yet they're dominating the ball. How? What? Nobody...
That's stupid, man. I swear. That.
The way he just says how, like he's dumbfounded. He doesn't know how football works.
Guy's a weapon, bro.
Oh my
Proper
God,
weapon.
idiot. Absolute idiots. But yo, people, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Let's see what some of you people are saying. Taram, why not go for him? We're not going for Taram. I'll tell you that right now for free. He would have to be like a third or fourth choice option. Memphis Depay is not the type of player we want. Even though there's been rumors of Arsenal wanting Arteta wanting Memphis Depay, that is more from the Barcelona camp. Benzema, every day of the week I'll take him, but he's not leaving Real Madrid. Let's be honest. Ferran Torres, I would actually consider it, but it would have to be like that loan, that desperation at the end of the window if we haven't had anything else. Barcelona fans themselves are telling me Ferran Torres, we'll drive him to you. Like it's almost like a Said Kolasinac type thing.
The thing is, I'm not a biggest fan of him, innit? But my thing is, if the manager wants him, I'm gonna trust him because he hasn't failed me yet in recent times with players that he signed. But Ferran Torres, from what I saw in the Premier League, I don't think it was disappointing as what people are trying to make it out to be. I think he was playing well, then he caught that injury, and then it didn't really work out for him. The only reason why he left City was because he went to go to Barca. It's not that he got forced out.
Yeah. Yo, did you guys want to say anything on the rig thing before I cut you guys off?
I love it, bro. I love it. Mate, we're gaining more haters, and it tells you everything. It tells you that we are actually that good. You know what I mean? Like, for people to be saying all these things, the list is growing, bro. I'm gonna have to make a spreadsheet because first it was they won't last till Christmas. Mikel Arteta will get sacked. After the World Cup, they will all go. They won't gain their form, come back, won the game straight away. Now it's that the league is rigged. So Arsenal has apparently gone and paid off 18 other members or whatever of the Premier League and the refs. I'll take it.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I've always brought up here on the sentiment that if you truly want to know when you're doing something right or if you're successful, count your haters. And everyone hates. That's why you know you're doing something right, you're successful. They know that banter club era where they can actually talk to us is no longer there. And the only team that can actually talk to us in this current climate is Man City.
And yo, the Spurs fan lost his head. He lost his head.
No, because they know they're slow. So you know it's rigged. Think about it. It's not rocket science.
That's it. No, but they know. This is the thing. They know they've just gone a golden era of like Spurs and everything, and they've come nowhere near the dominance that we're now going to show. And they're like, shit. We were trying to get past Arsenal in terms of winning things. We weren't able to do it when we had Kane, Son, Poch, all of these players, and now Arsenal are back again. It's like we can't do it.
Look at the way you deep it. Yeah, they've got their main two players, Kane and Son. Cool. Their age. Look at the age that they're at now. Yeah. So they're ready-made winners. This is when you look at players and you think they're meant to be winning now. If they're not winning now, then forget it. And we know Tottenham is not going to go out in the market and buy 3 to 4 top quality players to put next to them. So what's going to happen over the next 2 seasons is Kane's probably going to end up leaving. And what you've seen with Song is been hot and cold recently. So they're coming to the end. What have they got to offer as a project to other signings? Not much.
Except Conte.
Conte is their last hope.
Conte is their only hope.
He's the glue. He's the glue holding them together right now.
Bro, it's actually. Remember, Kesh, on my old Twitter account when I did the thing where I did the emoji where it was like Arsenal going up, Tottenham going down, and it got like 7,000 likes, and people were just saying you're deluded.
Yeah, I remember.
It's all come to fruition. Literally, we've said this so many times. You can only laugh at a team for so long before you actually see how good they actually are. Gary Neville, he kept saying, "Oh, I don't see the vision." He sees it now. He sees it now. Rio Ferdinand talking about Rashford needs to take pointers from Bukayo Saka. You got people saying Arsenal have the 2 best wingers in the league in Martinelli and Saka. Other people saying this, not Arsenal fans.
Bro, the scary figures, yeah. These are just 21, 22. Like this squad's got a lot of room to grow. Like you look at, I'll keep using Ben White as an example.
The youngest team in the league. Cash.
I'll keep using Ben White as an example. Like, yeah, he had certain frailties at centre back and all that, but he was always a good centre back, no matter what people are trying to say. Now you've seen him go into another position that is not even his position, and he's giving you 8 out of 10 every week. And it shows you how much he's growing as a player. Like, he's not that soft touch anymore where you can bully him. And I can see improvements in a lot of other players in different positions. So you give it 2 to 3 seasons, mate, it's crazy.
David Onstein just gave an update. What did he say? Let's see. Arsenal are... Sometimes these updates are not even point of... is there a point of reading this? Is there a point of reading this?
Oh, it's just regurgitated shit. Okay, yeah.
Is there a point of reading this? Like, Arsenal are in for Felix. A number would still come down to get the deal done. Like,
this is the problem with like Twitter journalism at the minute. It's just the same stuff, just in a different manner. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Sometimes that's how it is. Let's talk about. It's time for fake news, real news. Fake news, real news, guys. Fake news, real news. Let me tell you guys what we're looking at right now. Obviously, we're looking at Sergej, Milinkovic, Savic. And the rumor is Arsenal are front runners to sign the Lazio midfielder. How many times have we heard this? How many times have we heard this? I don't know what to say.
I,
I think
I,
it's just bullshit. But what do you
I
guys
don't
say?
think Arsenal. I don't think, as of now, Arsenal know who the midfielders they're going to bring in. I think they've got a list, but come summer, the market becomes even bigger. The option. Listen, if you get Champions League, you're going to see players that's on that list not even on there anymore. You're going to see players that weren't on the list come on the list. So that's what I'm saying with the Tielemans thing. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Let me tell you what they say about this. Core Sport via Sport Witness said Arsenal are interested in Sergej Milinkovic Savic, confirmed as they don't show up in January, it could show up in June. The player is due to reject the player did reject Arsenal in the past, but now the project is more convincing and is being reconsidered.
He's definitely on the list. Without a doubt, he's on the list.
That is what they're saying with that right now. It doesn't really sound convincing to me.
But then you got the likes of Bellingham, who's not on the list right now. Who, when you get Champions League, or say for instance we do win the league, it then becomes a option that you know the club is going to explore.
Well, we're at that phase of the project as well where we might be able to, because we are going to need like proven talents or superstars now, and like £100 million isn't out of the equation.
Ooh. You know what? I just want to show you guys something. Who's the head of this project? Edu or Arteta?
Arteta.
Because this report here from Gunner Blog was very eye-opening to me. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to find, why is it not doing this? Okay, so there we go. Arteta's jet black hair. Let's look at it. Arsenal recruitment process is designed to be led by Edu, but many close to the club feel it is ultimately Arteta's word that carries the most weight. It is not always the case, but Arteta wants a player. That often proves to be the deciding factor. So Arteta's calling the shots. That's what Gunner Blog saying.
I think it's conflicted, man. Like I do agree with majority of what's being said, but I think the project doesn't just start from players coming in. The project is much bigger than that. Much bigger than that. And I myself kind of still criticize the likes of Edu, still criticize Arteta, but there comes a point where you have to open up your eyes and see the bigger picture of what Edu's actually started it in terms of the restructuring of the scouting department, little things like that. Like there's so much more intricate details into what's going on at Arsenal right now. And it's not just about Mikel Arteta having a big say in players coming in. So I think they're both equally as, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Ownership of who's the boss when it comes to the project.
So let me ask you guys this: the list of transfer targets that we've been hearing about, or did you want to say something on this, Gunnar Souls, before I move on?
Yeah, I was kind of going to echo what Kesh is saying. I think what it is Arteta's ideas, which are being backed by Edu, in my opinion. I think obviously they've clearly brought Arteta in for a certain reason to bring in, and this is the reason why I say, like, I do think a lot of the ideas are coming from the likes of Arteta due to his La Masia time as well, and the fact that he was in that Barca academy, because the ideas are similar. But I think they needed a manager to allow and be able to be patient enough to build this process. But like I said, like, you can't now deny everything Edu's done as well. Like, he is a big part of this project because he's the technical director of football at Arsenal Football Club. It's the same way you can't deny Josh hasn't done anything for this project because he had to back it. He had to sign it off and say, look, yeah, we'll go in this direction. If that's what you guys believe is the right thing to do, that's what we'll do. I don't think there's one, because what they want to build is a dynasty. They want to bring, okay, this is our DNA, this is our philosophy, this is how we're going to play. So when the next manager comes in, they already know, okay, these are the manager shortlist, and they probably already have one. Even though Arteta's job is completely safe, they still have a short list of managers that constantly changes depending on the current circumstances. So that's what they're doing. They're building a DNA, they're building a dynasty, and they're building a way to move forward.
You know what? That is, I echo that completely. But before we move on to the final thing, I'm just going to say, people, throw your questions in the chat right now. We're getting to a final topic before we answer some questions. But guys, Evan Ndicka and Tielemans are the other two names that are being rumored to be the players that are going to be coming in potentially or being signed in January, either for the following year or potentially in January on pre-agreements for the following year. So do you think those are the guys that we're going to get, or do you think we're gonna hold our cards close and we're not going to sign anybody? Because you guys know what do you call it, the Evening Standards, what's his name, Simon Collins, you've probably seen his name on Twitter. With his Mudryk piece today, he pointed directly at Evan Ndicka being one of the first signings Arsenal make in the January window, and it'll be a pre-agreement signing in the summer. But if I could show you what I'm looking at right now without getting any copyright claims, I will do that. But he put this article, he did this article today, and in the article he was pointing out that Arsenal are a fan of Evan Ndicka, obviously, and Leicester's Youri Tielemans could just wait and sign them both on a free in the summer. But with their respective contracts expiring, they could be one of those signings that we make. Also, I don't want to hear nothing about Jonathan David. Also, and Fudunnes Torres or whatever his name is. These are the other guys that we're being linked to. So it's like 3 signings they're saying this summer this window could happen potentially. But some of the signings don't sound realistic. These are the more realistic signings. Those 2. Do you think we get either of them over the line?
I think Ndicka definitely. I think we definitely. He's been on the club radar even from Emery days, so. I think we'll get that one done.
Okay, Tielemans.
I'm very skeptical about that one, man. If look at it this way, I know he doesn't play similar positions to the likes.
Does he even move the needle for you? Be honest.
No, he doesn't move the needle. Not one bit at all. He doesn't. He's got qualities, but it's not the qualities we need. He's not gonna raise the bar for us.
Does he even play?
He doesn't. I don't think he gets in ahead of Xhaka, in front of Xhaka. And I'm not Xhaka's biggest fan.
So is there a point of buying another Fabio Vieira in the middle of the season?
No.
So then why don't we buy a backup to Partey? Because that's not going to happen.
Because El Nenny's back.
Also that.
Do we trust
Also, you know, when people talk about a backup for Partey, they're talking as if we're trying to sign a backup for, I don't know, some bomb. We're trying to do it for one of the best number 6s in the league right now. I'm saying one of. I'm not saying he is the best before people are coming out at me. And it's not easy to replace. What Partey does in this team is a very specialized role. It's a very difficult role to bring in. That profile is a very, very rare profile to bring. And there's not many that can do it in world football right now. So it's going to be like, Kesha's been saying, it's going to be when the portfolio of players opens up in the summer is when we can realistically bring someone in that can do what Partey does. Or even a backup second option, different profile, but does the similar role to a Partey. That could only be done in the summer. It's not a January signing. Or, you just go and get what you get. And it's not going to be good enough. That guy has to protect the back line. Don't forget, this job is hard. It's not an easy job. You're not going to just go get, he plays in the League 2, let's just bring him in. It's hard to get a player like that.
I think we can get a backup for him, but I think I can't just look at it from my perspective. I have to look at it from the manager's perspective. And he's probably looking at it thinking, in the season that we're having now, I might think you've got the quality, so therefore sooner rather than later come in and actually challenge Partey. But realistically, am I going to put you in such an important position and give you many appearances this season? Or just wait till the summer and then get you in and try to bed you in and get you acquainted to the system and all this, that. So I think that's probably the way Mikel Arteta is looking at it.
I think as fans, we just think, Mohammed, respectfully, sometimes we just say we want a player, let's just go get him. but then we don't think about how that player would fit in, how that player would come into the team and affect the team, how that player playing style would suit and contribute to certain players and take away from certain players. Like, there's way more than just saying this player suits what we're missing and then bring him in. It's not always that simple.
It's just taking chances. It's taking chances. And then
Asensio, we could have had Asensio.
And then in a few few months' time, then when the club's not playing him, for instance, if it turns out like a Pepe situation, it's clear that the club knows the targets that they're chasing long term. They've got it in their head. They're very aware of who they want, when they want them, or when they can get them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Also, look at it. Like, we are negotiating Mudryk's deal, and a big deal, by the way, one that can take a little bit of time before the window's even remotely open.
Yeah, true. That's true. The window hasn't even opened, and we're looking. We're moving quick. But you know what? At the same time, this is what we usually do.
Yeah. No.
We speak to the clubs. It's just the actual triggering of the fees and stuff. That's what's different.
But also, don't like what one thing that I want to make clear as well is that we've never seen Josh or Stan or either, like whether it's both or one, this early in a window. Even last window, we didn't see them until it came to. We didn't see them until like the previous window. Sorry, until we signed Ramsdale because that was taking too long. So Josh came in and within a week got that deal done. So that's why I know for a fact that these guys are wanting to move on this deal. And move
there's definitely a different focus. There is a different focus, and obviously I understand the whole kind of lotion in them trying to speak to his agent a month or so in advance before the window opens. But sometimes that always feels like it comes back to, I don't know if it's a lack of experience in negotiating or something, but when I look at other clubs and the way I don't know how they do it, but Liverpool, for instance, they can somehow just walk into a room and the aura is there where the club that you're buying from, they don't really keep up a fuss. Obviously, we're not at that stage yet. Yeah. And I wish we was at that stage where we walk into a room, we say, this is what you're getting, and the club just bottles it and say, yeah, you take it. But we're not there, innit? But it still winds me up because ideally, we've got some tough run of fixtures coming up and we play Brighton, cool. Then we got Newcastle. Then we got the game against Oxford in the FA Cup. And you just think those two fixtures was probably the most ideal fixtures. You'd have wanted him in to get settled. And whether it's coming on as a sub against Newcastle and then getting his full debut against Oxford in the FA Cup, leading into the North London derby, then Man United next, it would have been perfect and ideal for him. But then if you don't get it done immediately, say we play the Newcastle game, then obviously, I don't know, say the 7th, the Oxford game's on the 9th, I think. He's still not in. You've then missed a perfect opportunity to give the guy a game. You then go into the North London derby, and then we know what that means to us. You're not just going to chuck him in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just want us to plan better and get things done. That's what I ask for.
But you know what, I guess, Kesh, I said this yesterday. I think we're 2 seasons away from happening. I think at the moment, too many clubs.
What he said is crazy, though. Look at this. Liverpool, they do stuff. What do you call it? Out in the open. The Van Dijk situation was embarrassing for them. They learned from that situation and they started changing their ways. But because after the Van Dijk situation, they then started doing more steadily, more behind the scenes. Up until the Van Dijk situation, they were still struggling, bro. Don't forget, they were fighting with other teams for signings all the time.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Because with Van Dijk, Southampton knew Liverpool wanted and needed and absolutely needed this player. That's the problem. We're in that situation right now where we need these players more than we want them. It's not a luxury to have these players. That's what I'm saying. In 2 seasons' time, I believe
it's not even about the season.
Luxury to have.
It's not even about the seasons. It's about how complete your team is. That's what you mean.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, obviously, it's going to take, I think, another 2 windows.
And when we get to that level, this is why when we're having the Mbappe conversation yesterday, bro, I wasn't entertaining it. It's because guys don't realize we still need to fill out this squad. This squad is not at Man City and PSG's level to be signing an Mbappe, to be signing. Even when we signed Ozil and Sanchez, we really made the mistake in not filling out our squad and spending too much money on individual players. Like, it's great to have those guys and they raise the level of the squad. But if everybody around them is average, it doesn't really benefit you in the long run.
Now we're in that position to get the Ozil, to get the Sanchez's, to get
right now. If there was a Luis Suarez on the market, a young Luis Suarez, an Ajax type player, and we were able to get him right now, game changer. If somebody comes available in the market that in right now that is able to be a successor to Partey, like everyone keeps talking about Declan Rice, but if there was a younger version of Tchouaméni available right now, there could be doing this for the next 5-6 years, and was a reasonable price that was in our market, and we could find him when he was still young. That's what we need. I don't think we're gonna go for Jude Bellingham. I don't know if we're gonna go for him because Xhaka is still of a decent age, and we're not looking for that profile. I don't think we're gonna go for.
We will. The reason is because Xhaka is getting to that age we need to replace him.
Not yet. I don't. I think in the summer we might look at getting somebody who can play both as a Partey. I think Declan Rice is the guy we're going to get. I genuinely believe Declan Rice to Arsenal could be a thing. And I know people just laugh when you see people hugging and stuff, but like coming up to players and speaking to them after the game is kind of like
it's a normal thing for managers that's interested in players, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should be looking for a player that can play both positions. I'm not really buying into that.
No, but you get what I'm saying, though.
Declan Rice would be the perfect young.
Declan Rice could easily play Xhaka's position and.
But I think we need to move away from the identical traits that Xhaka brings. Like, I think someone who's a bit more. I don't know.
I think James Maddison for Xhaka.
I think Maddison would be a good option.
No, but James Maddison would be a good option. But ESR is still in the picture, you know.
Nah,
what I mean?
I don't like him as a central player. Not yet.
I have to wait and see how that cooks before I start buying into that ESR left interior role. I see how it cooks first.
I'm saying, you know, when Edu has that board in the room, or in All or Nothing, ESR is on that board as one of those players that are playing in that position. That's a fact.
See, I'm not saying Xhaka's role is not vital. Come on, let's use our comprehension skills. I think Xhaka's been tremendous this season. But I also think if Xhaka's got a bit more guile to him, which Rice hasn't got. If you're talking about someone like Milinkovic Savic, I think he's got a bit more guile to him in terms of when he's around in and around the box. He's going to bring a lot more than what Xhaka can give us. He's giving us right now.
Rice is part. That's how I see it. Rice is never going to play.
Coming to Arsenal.
No, like it can happen, but the thing is, for me, Rice is never going to play the Xhaka role. Don't ever put him in that Xhaka role.
Never.
Like, he's not a Xhaka. He's a Partey. If you want like a young replacement to a Partey, that's my player. I've been saying it from seasons ago. I want Declan Rice to come.
I don't buy into the Declan Rice thing. I keep telling people, bro, he'll be an elite. He can be an elite centre back if he just moves back there. I'm not buying into this. You know who Rice reminds me of? He reminds me of Romero at Tottenham because he's everywhere trying to get into people's faces, and people compliment him, say, "Oh, Rice is always in the position." Like when he cleaned up for Saka, when Saka cut in across Cresswell, and Rice was there. I was like, the reason why he's able to do that because he's originally a centre back. He saw the danger before it was there. But in terms of what Partey gives you, Rice cannot bring you that. He's not press resistant. He doesn't break the line the way Partey does. He's not able to carry the ball the way Partey does. I know he's very good at ball carrying. He's very good at ball carrying. In terms of the way Partey's IQ kind of drives into the right spaces and little things like that, I think Rice just runs. You know what I mean? Ooh, it's very different.
That's harsh, bro.
No, it's not harsh.
It's not harsh at all. You know what it is? But for me, I think what Partey is doing now is somewhat complementary to like what Arteta is allowing him to do. I do think if Rice comes to Arsenal, he'll develop into not as good. Maybe he'll never reach the Thomas Partey level, but I do think he'll become a solid like 6 option as a replacement to Partey or.
I think Rice is more capable of being closer to the Casemiro. I think the way they play, their style is sort of similar rather than towards Partey. And that's just me, innit? I think Partey's IQ and the way he visions football is totally different to what Rice would.
You know what? We're gonna have to leave it there. Pick up everyone. There's a Man City game we're gonna go watch. Hopefully they get a goal scored loss. I want to see like a 3-2 loss. That would be amazing for my fantasy team and for and for Arsenal.
Wait, so you've got lead players?
What?
Well, have you got Leeds?
No, I have Man City players. I'm heavily invested in Man City to do well. It doesn't benefit me in real life. But yeah, big up, guys. Yo, Cash, man, it's been nice having you on. Gunner Souls, been nice having you guys on. Next video I'm going to do this Arsenal related, guys, is going to be on, what day is it? When's our game? Saturday, right? So
Saturday, 5:30.
So Friday I'm doing an Arsenal preview. And tomorrow I'm doing a Premier League predictions preview for next week. And tonight I'm doing a review of all the games. And we're going to talk about Enzo Fernandez and all these guys also on there. So make sure you check it out at 10 o'clock. But big up, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And we're out of here, people. Peace. Where's the video?